If you're working on your portfolio or are planning to work on it soon, this video will be packed with practical advice and tips that you can use to improve it and increase your chances of getting hired. My name's Tay. I'm a senior product designer, and over my 8-year career, I've been a part of several hiring teams across multiple companies. And in this video, we're going to talk about this tweet from Tom. Tom is a staff product designer currently at Vercel, and they were recently looking for a senior product designer to join their team. Tom posted about it on his account, and I assumed that he didn't get a lot of really good portfolios or resumes because he wrote this post with tips to help designers improve their portfolio and resumes. I just want to run through this because this is a post that I think a lot of designers need to see. There's a lot of truth here, and there's also some interesting topics to take a look at as well. Number one on the list, focus on typography. This is such an underrated element to improve the overall quality and polish on your portfolio. You can't use free fonts anymore, especially if you want to stand out in this market. One of the best things you can do is invest in a paid font. And a lot of designers think that it is some crazy amount of money that you need to put up in order to have these quality fonts. But as I mentioned in one of my previous videos, I'll include a link to it somewhere on the screen. But you can get a paid font for as low as $5 to $25. It's not as bad as what some designers would make it out to be. But just that one thing alone can help your portfolio feel 10 times better and help you stand out in this market, because everyone is using those free fonts and you're just going to blend into the crowd. So if you want to earn a strong first impression, use a good high quality typeface. Let's see the next one. Show details of your work, craft, tiny interactions. This is one that is also very important. It's going to help you stand out if you can show that you put thought and attention into the tiny parts of the product and the experience. Things like the hover states and transitions. Those are the things that are the 1 or 2% of an overall product that just helps it feel polished. It helps it feel designed. And those are the things that a lot of designers don't typically show in their portfolios. So if you can show that you're thinking about that level of detail, it will point to your thinking as a designer. The next one, no scroll jacking. This one is kind of hit or miss. I think there is a place for scroll jacking, especially if you can do it in a tasteful way that helps you tell whatever story you're trying to tell on your portfolio. But in most cases, designers overuse it and it becomes very annoying to scroll through someone's portfolio where they're hijacking things left and right. So best practice is to generally stay away from scroll jacking, but if you use it in a tasteful way, then there's definitely no problem with using it at all. Make sure your site is amazing on mobile and wide screens. Again, this goes without saying, but you need to make sure your portfolio is responsive. You can't have it look really good on desktop and be terrible on mobile. This is one of those things where a lot of hiring managers and recruiters will just see how your portfolio looks on a smaller screen. If they see that you didn't put any thought or effort into making sure it was optimized there, this will show that you don't pay attention to those details and will often make them feel like you're gonna bring that same lack of attention to their company or product. So take the extra effort to make sure your portfolio looks good on both desktop and mobile, but even tablet. Like fully responsive is what you want to be shooting for. That's the bar, right? It's super easy to just want to focus on desktop. Honestly, most recruiters and hiring managers will be looking at your portfolio on a desktop screen, but some may not. Some may be on the go. Some may also be using this as part of their criteria for reviewing your portfolio. Part of their criteria may be to see how optimized is your portfolio on mobile, because that is very important for what we do on a day-to-day basis, especially if you're working on a web product or web app. Put your about info on an about page. This one is somewhat subjective, but the biggest thing to take away from this particular point is that you want to make navigating your site extremely easy. One of the most important things that I've talked about in my recent video is that Your about page is one of the best signals you have as a designer to show recruiters and hiring managers who you are as a person. This helps them understand if you're going to be a culture fit or a good team member to work with on a day-to-day basis. So don't make this page hard to find. The best thing to do is include it as part of your navigation within the header of your portfolio. And this could take people to a dedicated about page or a dedicated section on your portfolio. So if you have a one-page portfolio, then you can have a link to your about section from the header. Again, this just makes it extremely easy for people to find that information. Don't make them go digging around for it. Next, we have side projects. This one's important because this is where you can really show how you think, as well as some other areas that you're passionate about. These can be things that are unrelated to what you typically do on a day-to-day basis within your job. It also shows your skill set, especially if you're able to show different parts of your design repertoire that you don't typically get to show on the projects that you do for work. So leverage these side projects to show different sides of your design skill set that would be appealing to a hiring manager or a recruiter looking at your portfolio. If your site is password protected, please get rid of it unless you absolutely have to. All caps, absolutely have to. This one is huge. This is one that often get designers put out of the race before they even have a real chance. So this goes back to reducing friction for hiring managers and recruiters. Don't make them have to go hunting for the password to your portfolio. So if you have to password protect your site, make your password so easy to find, I can't miss it. Again, get rid of the whole password protection if you can, but if you absolutely have to, cannot take it off, then you definitely need to make it extremely easy to find your password. A lot of job applications will have a spot for you to place your portfolio link, and then usually right underneath that, they say, hey, if you have a password, what is the password for your portfolio? Include it there, but I think it's also helpful if you include it in your resume as well. So if you include it in your resume, again, make it stand out. It should be immediately noticeable when a recruiter or a hiring manager is looking at your resume. It should jump out at them and they should know, okay, when I'm ready to look at their portfolio, I can take this password, paste it in, and view it. But the overall best experience is to just remove it altogether. Take away that friction. Don't put any extra obstacles in their way. Give them the easiest viewing experience as possible. Obvious links to any social profiles about your design thinking, not your personal life. Again, this is one where he wants to see more about how you think. He wants to see more about who you are as a designer. What are your hot takes? What things do you absolutely hate? What things are you absolutely passionate about? These are the type of things that he wants to see. He wants to get to know more about you as a designer, because a lot of people, a lot of designers on their portfolios include links to their social media accounts, but it's just their personal accounts, right? There's nothing on there that's design related, which is totally fine. I think you can get away with doing that. But for Tom in particular, he wants to know more about you as a designer. And you can learn about those things and include stuff like that on your portfolio if you mention it either on your about page. And if you want a space to do additional thinking and show how you think about some other areas of design, you can include something like that on, say, a mini blog page on your portfolio if you'd like. You better show that you are using AI in your work or using AI to make work. So this one, again, just shows that you're up to date on some of the latest tools. You understand the impact of AI. So regardless of if you're using AI at work or not, show that you're doing something with AI. So you may not have the opportunity to work with AI at your day-to-day job, but it's extremely helpful if you can show that, hey, I'm thinking about these things. I'm thinking about how I can leverage AI to do this or that. It just shows that you are able to learn new tools, you're adaptable, because this is also something that's top of mind for a lot of companies right now. A lot of companies are looking for ways to leverage AI to get these productivity boosts across their teams and orgs within their company. So if you can show that you know how to leverage those things, that will make you an extremely attractive candidate. So be sure to include something about AI in your portfolio. If you redesign something, make sure the before doesn't look like it's your work. This one is one that a lot of designers typically include on their portfolio. Some concept project showing a big redesign. If you're going to do something like that, be sure to include a clear before and after reference. One of the best things you can do, honestly, is to just include the after as your hero shot for the project. So it's very easy to tell that, okay, this is the new thing. This is what they redesigned. And then as they scroll throughout the case study or the showcase for your project, they can see a before and after and make it very clear which is the before, which is the after, so that there's no confusion on the hiring manager or recruiter's part. Start sharing your work on social media. I can't overstate the importance of just having a place to share your thoughts, concepts, and small hot takes. This is another one that's really good because sharing your work online is one of the best things you can do as a designer, because this will get you so many opportunities, especially if you share it on a consistent basis. This will open so many doors. You'll get recruiters or hiring managers, maybe even potentially reaching out to you because they've come across your work on social media. So if you can share your work online, that'd be great. It's one of those things where it seems kind of scary at first because you kind of feel like there are other designers out there who could be better than you. You're going to share it, tons of people are going to critique it, but oftentimes that's not the case. Oftentimes your work is really good, and this will be the design that opens up tons of opportunities for you. So if you have designs or concepts that you're working on, share them online. That's honestly one of the best things you can do outside of applying to jobs directly in order to find your next opportunity. If your portfolio hasn't been revisited since before AI, you need to revisit it. Everything is different now. Yeah, so this goes back to something that he mentioned previously where everything is AI focused right now. Everybody is looking for ways to leverage AI. Every company is looking for those efficiency boosts across their team. So you really need to talk about how you're leveraging it. I mean, you really can't get away with not saying something about it on your portfolio. At this point, it's pretty safe to say that AI is not going anywhere anytime soon. So it's really important for you as a designer that's trying to find a job to include how you're leveraging it or thinking about using it in your process. So you can share different projects you're working on that use AI to help you stand out in that way. I think the other thing that has changed since AI is also the fact that AI is here and it's generating designs, and a lot of those designs are using these very basic templated fonts. This goes back to one of his previous points around focusing on typography, because when AI generates something, it uses basic fonts. And if you're also using a basic free font in your portfolio, it's going to make your site feel AI generated and ultimately pretty basic. Like, I hate to say it, but it will help your portfolio if you just invest in a high quality font. And things are just so different now in terms of like what AI can do for you on your portfolio. There's so many different creative things that you can leverage AI to do, and the possibilities are endless. So AI has given us so many different ways to express creativity that it almost be silly not to include something about it in your portfolio. The next one, make sure you have other designers critique it. We know feedback is very important to the overall design process. So what you really want to do is reach out to other designers and get their feedback and perspectives on your portfolio before you start to share it broadly in job applications. This is generally a great way to expose any blind spots your portfolio might have. It's going to help you find anything that might be missing or broken. And it's just also great to get another perspective as someone who didn't physically design the portfolio. So if you can reach out to another designer, definitely do so. If you want me, a senior product designer, to look over your portfolio, you can book a session with me. I'll be happy to take a look at your portfolio if you want to click the link down in the description below. Next, your resume PDF shouldn't get more emphasis than your work. This one is pretty interesting because most designers often slip up on this one. They take the easy route where they update their resume to look really nice, but oftentimes they just leave their portfolio as is. And this is one that creates this weird disconnect where it seems like you know design, but then you open your portfolio and things seem outdated. So make sure if you're going to spend some time updating your resume, also take some additional effort and time to update your portfolio. Last on the list here, personal opinion, dark mode work just sells better. That's hit or miss. It's very subjective. I think dark mode sells better, but that's just my personal take as well. There's no hard and fast rule that says that, but dark mode generally to me just looks better. I agree with this point. No disagreement for me on that. Let's see. Few additions down here at the bottom. Let's see. Show something that's using an interesting technology or framework, a specific AI tool, Claude Code, terminals, Three.js, 3D modeling, charting libraries, 3D printing, hardware, game dev, Rive, Spline, Framer, etc. This is the same vein as showing side projects. Having skills that are design related, but not just design, is really valuable. It shows you are able to think outside of Figma / rigid process and solve problems in different mediums, or at the very least, could be put on a project that's going to require new skills. Learn new things. That shows you can learn new things. Yeah, again, this goes back to some points that we talked about previously, but just show how you leverage creative thinking in general. I think 3D printing is one that's really interesting. If you do anything that's adjacent to design that involves creative thinking, could be something to include in your portfolio. It could be anything, honestly, that shows that. So if you have anything that you can put on your portfolio to speak to these areas, then that'd be great. All right, hopefully you're able to take away something from this video and apply it to your portfolio to improve it and increase your chances of getting hired. And I also wanted to remind you that if you're interested in having a senior product designer review your portfolio, you can book a session with me down in the description below. And as I mentioned throughout this video, AI is a very big thing in this market right now. So if you're looking for an AI tool that you can possibly explore to help you improve your product design process or your overall portfolio, check out this video where I show you an AI tool that I've been exploring lately. See you there.